Yo, yo, yo. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone's enjoying their week, their work week. I hope everyone's excited for the weekend. I know training camp is not here for the Eagles, but it will be here soon before you know it. I can't wait to see the lineups. I can't wait to dive into the competition. But until then, we're going to be going over news daily for the Philadelphia Eagles. And obviously some things I definitely want to talk about as well. My own analysis of things. I know my voice can get tiring day by day. But some news, some Nakobe Dean news. Obviously talk about a position group I'm very excited for this year that probably has my favorite player on it. And some news at the end of the video as well. So let's get straight into all of it.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, yo, yo. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. I hope everyone's going to have a great weekend and all that great stuff. Yeah, I want to go over a few things, okay? Number one, I think when you look at all the position groups, and I think there's like one dream I've always wanted to see, and we're about to get it this year, is at the running back position, because I think the running back position is drastically increased by a mile. I think, Miles Sanders leaving, getting $6 million a year. I knew they weren't going to re-sign him. Miles was one of my favorite players on this team, and unfortunately, I was already preparing myself by the end of the season that he was going to sign elsewhere. And obviously, he wanted to come back, but the Eagles definitely replaced him. I know some fans are like, "Well, you're not going to replace a 1,000-yard rusher." I'm like, calm down, guys. He had one 1,000-yard season. He's played well his career, and at least for the few years he was here on his rookie deal. And, I think we have a better running back room, and that's a big what if, quote unquote, because you have a couple guys on this running back core that is, that have had past injuries, obviously with DeAndre Swift being out 3 games last year. And, Rashad Penny has been, hurt a lot over the years and missed, only played 5 games last year. So, you kind of have to distribute these carries nicely. And, I think you have a really good core if you can keep everybody healthy and do a good job there. But this running back core, I think, is my favorite. And I know I should be more excited about Jalen Hurts and more excited about the wide receivers and who's going to be, who's going to make the, what is Zacchaeus and, Quez Watkins, that wide receiver 3, all that great stuff we kind of been looking forward to. I'm excited for DeAndre Swift. I got to say, man, I've always dreamed of a running back. There's always those running backs you dream of, like running behind this offensive line right now. And DeAndre Swift, I am telling you right now, DeAndre Swift could be a top 5 back this year. Not even kidding. He can cut on a dime. His vision is legendary. It's good. I mean, if the Eagles can get him to the second level, he's almost going to be impossible to stop. This offense is almost going to be impossible to stop. And he reps that number 0 so well, and I absolutely love it. I think it's going to look really good on him with the black visor and everything. It's going to look good. I already know it. DeAndre Swift is not only against other teams, but look what he's done to us over the years. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like, DeAndre Swift has done damage. Even the first game we had in the 22 season, he ran good on us. You know what I mean? Even Rashad Penny from the Seattle as well. We have, I know I don't want to leave, Boston Scott out, and I don't want to leave, obviously, Kenneth Gainwell. That's a solid running back for us as well. Because if I don't mention Gainwell, people get mad and they're like, well, you must not like him. I'm like, I do like him. But my favorite running back going to this year is definitely DeAndre Swift. And I'm more than excited. I can't wait. He will be the focal point in this offense. There is no doubt about it. Interesting enough to see how they're going to be using. Boston Scott will be mostly special teams full time, but interesting enough, I really want to see how they use Rashad Penny. Is going to be more? Is he? I mean, if it was really up to me, to be honest with you, I would use Rashad Penny as a finisher, tire out defenses with him, because obviously he welcomes that contact. He gets to the second level. He makes guys miss. I mean, he's got that burst of that next shiftness of speed when he gets in the open lane. It's almost ridiculous. And all these guys are playing playing for contracts. Rashad Penny's playing for a contract on another team, for next year. And, DeAndre Swift is going to play for himself this year as well. But honestly, rumors are kind of swirling that, there is, temptation by the Eagles that they want to give DeAndre Swift an extension. And I feel like they're going to. I feel like it's going to happen just because, it's not like you're picking up a 29-year-old running back, a 30-year-old running back. You're picking up a 24-year-old running back. And if he can stay healthy this year, I'm not going to say they're going to pay him like top-tier money for a running back, because obviously it's just there's really no market for running backs, to be honest with you. If Miles Sanders coming out off 1,000 yards is getting paid $6 million a year, obviously he probably would have got paid more if he had some better years. But how much are teams willing to pay? You know what I mean? Mostly if you draft a running back, whether he's a first or second rounder, and they play really well, half of the teams really, if you have a running back at that caliber, most teams just want to franchise tag a running back. You would rather franchise tag a running back than sign him to a long-term deal, because number one, you don't want to keep a guy long-term, and number two, it's an easier way to get to another contract to keep the player in for one more year, and it's a lot cheaper. I'd rather pay somebody, $10 million guaranteed for the whole entire year, than pay some big 4-year, $45 million guaranteed, a big deal like that. The dream is seeing a running back caliber of DeAndre Swift in a backfield like this. And that was one of the reasons why, too, that kind of everything soured down in Detroit, because he wasn't the focal point last year in Detroit. He was sharing carries. And, he felt like he had a lot more left to give for that team last year. And obviously getting Jahmyr Gibbs, top 2 running backs in the top 15, which is crazy. I told you guys, running backs can get drafted real early. And the Gibbs one probably made me more, surprised than anything. And that kind of, the excitement in that war room from Detroit, it really kind of showed that, there was talks within the first 2 days of the draft that DeAndre Swift was going to, get traded, and the Eagles jumped on it. I mean, you got DeAndre Swift for really nothing. I mean, a 25 fourth round pick, if I'm mistaken. I mean, that's 2 years away. I mean, you got him for nothing. You got him for free, pretty much. You got him for nothing. You got Rashad Penny for nothing because he's injury prone. You got, DeAndre Swift for nothing. Not saying I think he's a lot less injury prone, but he's dealt with some injuries, as well. But I think you have great value in those two guys, low risk, high reward type moves. But obviously the talent is there when they're healthy. There's no doubt about it. And, I feel like, this is going to be one of my favorite players this year. I really think this run game is going to be more dangerous. And honestly, I think Rashad Penny, when healthy, is better than Miles Sanders. I think DeAndre Swift, when healthy, is better than Miles Sanders. By a landslide, 100%. I think they have more explosiveness. They have better burst. They don't dance too much. They can catch. They took Miles Sanders out of the passing game. Really, when Doug left, that's when Nick, Miles Sanders was not Nick's running back. That was Doug's running back. Doug was here when they drafted Miles Sanders. You know what I mean? So, it just wasn't their back. And not like they didn't want to use him in other ways. Yeah, I kind of question why they didn't run with Miles Sanders a lot in the first half to a lot of games we had last year. It seemed like Gainwell was more of a focal point in the passing game. I used to love Miles Sanders in the passing game. I thought he was so good at it, and he was a dual threat. I think they underutilized Miles Sanders. And obviously Sanders was having drop problems. He was having issues, not being too undecisive when going through his motion, what lane he's gonna run through, kind of trying to make a home run. Run upfield every single time, dance too much. There were times, like there wasn't, Miles Sanders wasn't perfect either. You know what I mean? So, you're getting a couple guys here that can catch you out of the backfield, especially, like I said, Swift is, I can't even complain about it too much. To see him and what he's going to do for this offense. And I think and here's another thing that's really cool. Like, DeAndre Swift hasn't been with a mobile receiver since like high school. Like, this is going to be the first time in his career that he's with like a dual threat quarterback. And I think that's even more dangerous because now teams are going to be like DeAndre Swift and Jalen Hurts at that read option, like, damn, it's gonna get really crazy. I'm really excited for it. That exchange and how it's gonna keep defenses on their heels. Like, they're not gonna know what to do between the offensive line, the receivers, now this running back core that you have all different type skill set backs that you could use and tire defenses out easy. Really help that, obviously pass protection as well when you're running the ball a lot and tire out these defenses a little bit and get these receivers, involved. We all know that this is a passing team. We all know it's a pass-first team, okay? Like, the offense runs through A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. I mean, that's number one. You want to get the pass game going before we start running like crazy. So, like I said, DeAndre Swift, I know I talked 10.5 minutes over it, but, absolutely amazing. Thought it was, DeAndre Swift is my favorite player going into this season to see what he could do. And I think he could have it to over 1,000 yards this year. I really do. Keep all those guys healthy. Now, there was news that came out about Nakobe Dean, and I'm actually really not surprised at this, but I really thought that this was true. I was like, you know what, before the draft started, before like we were going through the draft and what was going on, the rumors and everything, I was like, if the Eagles get their hands on some Georgia Bulldogs, I'm telling you right now that Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, somebody is going to have a lot to say, that Howie Roseman is going to get information out of these guys about these guys' backgrounds and how they are as people and, stuff like that. And that's really good information. So now the Kobe Dean talked about Howie Roseman. He says, I think, he picked the best available guys. He called me a lot asking about those guys, Keely, Jordan, Nolan. I want to feel like I had something to do with it. After the draft, I sent him a little go dogs. So Nakobe Dean really happy was with Nolan Smith when he got drafted. And I was really happy for, that to even happen. I think Jordan Davis was there as well. You always want that background information on, guys, from a specific school. And what's more perfect than to ask one of the leaders to that Georgia defense when he was there, and Nakobe Dean, accountability, guys. That's what it's all about. And I just had a feeling that, if Nakobe Dean is saying this, I want to feel like I had something to do with it. That means that he was very involved in talking to Howie about some of these Georgia players in this draft. And that's awesome. I think that's a really cool thing. And, like I said, the pre-draft visits are pre-draft visits. But what are they like off the field? What are these players like behind the scenes? I don't understand, like, these players are trying to give a good impression when you go on a pre-draft visit. You're gonna get tested. Play. They'll ask you questions and about your life and stuff. But you're putting on a good impression. So it makes them like you and have a lot of interest to draft you. But behind the scenes, sometimes you don't know how these guys are behind the scenes. Obviously, we were dealing with the Jalen Carter stuff. A lot of fans were not happy about drafting him. Some fans are. Some fans think that there's a big support group for Jalen Carter. Obviously, Jordan Davis being that big mentor for Jalen Carter was a huge thing, which I found out. The Eagles doing their own investigations on things and asking one of your players that's going to be your starting linebacker this year, about Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, asking questions. And that's a great thing. I'm glad that Nakobe Dean had input on these guys and how they are. And, obviously, Nakobe Dean wouldn't lie to Howie and, be selfish and be like, oh, yeah, they're great, and they're not. But they are good people. So, to get that background information is a really big help. And I thought that was pretty cool. So, and can't wait to see Nakobe Dean play as well. I'm very excited for him. And that linebacker group, very interesting group. I feel like I need to add another body, but we will see. And lastly, 76er news. I always have to end it on that, right? We're not going to do the Sixer news first. We'll do it last. People were like, why are you doing 76er? This is for Eagles. Relax. We're just trying to fill out some time because it's a very quiet time right now for, the Philadelphia Eagles. So we have to kind of rant about other things like Nick Nurse. The 76ers are going to be interviewing Nick Nurse as a head coaching candidate right now. And this isn't really a bad move. This is actually would be a really good move, to be honest. A way different coach than Doc. There's no doubt. Recently won a championship I think he was not head coach, he was a coach of the year. He was a coach of the year candidate, which is great, but I think the most important thing is he's won a recent championship, so that accolade itself just turns me on. Okay. Yeah, it does, because Doc Rivers reminds me of the old coaching, the OG. Well, I don't even think about it like this. Think about Doc Rivers as, a coach from the old time. Doc Rivers hasn't won a championship since 2008. 2008 with the Celtics, right? If I'm wrong. I mean, it's been a long time. Okay? I think part of Doc Rivers going, not because of the James Harden and Embiid stuff, whatever the case may be with that, and not being good enough and not putting these guys in the right situation and not keeping these guys prepared, and, even in the playoffs, you're stuck. You can't pass the second round. I don't think it's about that. I think part of it is that, obviously. But I think another reason, too, is it's just he might be doing things in his old ways that keep his teams, keep his rosters at the same projection. Last couple years, man, it's been, I feel like I'm watching a replay every single year. He's choked in being up 3-2 in playoff games, 6-7 times? They need new blood. Now, obviously, Daryl Morey has already said that the coaching search is not going to be really fast, that they're not going to hire somebody now. Okay. I don't think Nick Nurse is the only one. But I think there's going to be others that will be involved down the road. I don't know how long it's going to take. Obviously, before the draft, they will get this done. They have to. I say like another few weeks to a month. I feel like they will hire somebody. I mean, you can't wait that late, but, I understand they'll take their time with it. But at least you're bringing in a guy that's recently won a championship that is in today's NFL of winning championships. You understand? Like 2008 is dinosaur years to me. It is. The league was way different during that time. Everything was different. Social media was different. Everything was different during that time. Now, yeah, it's night and day. Okay, so I think this is good. This is a start. This is good. Obviously, you have to do this before anything else. I don't know if this guy likes Joel Embiid. I don't know. I don't really know much. I know they had that sideline thing a year or two ago. A couple years ago. When they were kind of arguing on the sideline, or on the side of the court. I forgot what that was about. I'm kind of having a brain fart about it, but just a lot of rumors with all that stuff. James Harden, there's him going to the Rockets is that he's already planned to go to the Rockets. He's already planning on it. Like there's no turning back. Like he's already planned on going there. And obviously, I don't know what's happened with Joel Embiid, but we're gonna find out. If you're trying to make some, do some different things, and you want to bring in some different players, even with, I don't know, it just really depends. I mean, I don't know if you want to, if you can afford to bring in a Damian Lillard, or, I don't want to go backwards and get another older vet and just struggle again. I just, it's really tough to say if you really need to get rid of Embiid. It's a tough one. I go back and forth on it every day, and I still don't know what to do. I feel like you got to keep him because of his talent, but I think he needs the right head coach his attitude needs to change a little bit. He's got to stop pointing fingers. He's got to stop being a loose cannon. Because Jokic, I'm telling you, man, like that guy has a better mindset than Joel, and I think he's less of a crybaby, and I think mentally he's a better player, and I said that a couple of days ago, and surprisingly people said that they agreed. I mean, trust me, you could say you don't, because I like Joel Embiid, but it's just I don't like the finger pointing stuff. I can't stand that. You have a bad game, you have an excuse. You have a good game, you taking all the fame, all the energy, you taking all the questions, and you laugh, and but when things are going bad, it really shows what people are. It does. When things aren't going his way, it shows. goes, and it's actually really scary at times. So, but other than that, it's a good start for the coaching search. I know I went on a little rant there, but that was really important going forward. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Talked about DeAndre Swift, talked about Nakobe Dean, how much of a role he had on obviously giving outside input about, some of the Georgia players that they drafted, which I thought it was really cool. And obviously talking about, the 76ers with Nick Nurse as the first head coaching job search. He's getting interviewed, so we're going to see how that goes and see who else they bring in, So other than that, it's pretty much it. If you guys lasted this long in the video and you want to support even more, if you're new, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video as well. We cover the Eagles every single day. I will have a video out probably in a few days to talk about some updates on the situation with my setup, everything. There's going to be a lot of upgrades in the next few weeks from that until, the regular season. It's going to be in progress. So a lot's going to be happening. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD, follow us live. Peace out, guys. Peace.